No cap, bruh. It's time to level up and live for yourself, homie. Save that precious time cause it's been needed from you. Swipe or just straight up ghost it. Trust me, some moments get straight up snatched. Some just ghost you, and others bounce without a trace. But the worst loss, that's the one when you're just slacking off. And let me drop some knowledge. Most of our life goes down the drain while we're goofing off, wasting time, or just doing stuff that's a total vibe killer. Can you show me anyone who actually vibes with their time? Someone who knows every day is like a ticking time bomb. People are tripping when they think death is in the future. Most of it's already in the rear view. Whatever years we got left are hanging by a thread. So bestie, do what you say you're doing. Seize every hour. Tackle today's tasks, and you won't have to depend on tomorrow. When we procrastinate, life just zooms by faster than you can sail it. Remember this, homie. Time is the only thing we truly own. It's so fragile that anyone can yeet it from us. People are wild and man. They keep track of cheap, replaceable stuff they buy, but they don't see themselves in debt when they waste that precious thing, time. And even if you wanted to, you can't pay back that loan. You might be wondering if I practice what I preach. I'll keep it real with you. I ain't perfect. I spend, but at least I know what I'm spending on and why I'm broke. My situation ain't unique. Lots of folks end up with little cash for no fault of their own. People cut him some slack, but no one helps out. So here's the deal. I don't call a man broke if he ain't got enough to flex. But I'm telling you, hold on to what's yours and start early. Cause when you hit rock bottom, it's too late. What's left at the bottom is straight up sus, and the quality is trash.
For real, from what you're telling me and the word on the street, I'm feeling pretty lit about your future. You're not out here constantly hopping around, switching up your scene, cause that kind of restlessness is a major red flag for a chaotic mind. If you ask me, a well-organized mind can just chill in one spot and vibe with their own thoughts. But watch out, don't go overboard with reading a million different authors and all kinds of books. That's just gonna scatter your focus and make you hella scatterbrained. Stick with a tight crew of top-tier thinkers and really soak up their wisdom if you want to keep those ideas locked and loaded in your brain. Being everywhere is like being nowhere, you feel me? If you're always on the move, you'll end up with tons of acquaintances but no real homies. It's the same deal with bouncing around between authors without diving deep into any of them. Think of it like this. Food doesn't do jack if it's in and out of your stomach in a flash. Changing meds all the time won't help you heal, and a plant that's always getting moved won't grow strong. There's nothing that can do its job when it's constantly on the move. And reading a bunch of books at once, total distraction, my dude. So, since you can't read every book you own, just own as many as you can actually read. But you might say, I like to dip my toes in different books. Well, let me tell you, bouncing around like that is like having an overly fancy palate, hopping between a bunch of dishes that might taste good but don't really fill you up. Stick with the classics, my friend. When you need a change of pace, revisit the ones you've already digested. Each day, take in something that'll fortify you against life's curveballs, like being broke or kicking the bucket. And after you've run through a bunch of thoughts, pick one to really chew on for the day. That's how I roll, by the way. From all the stuff I've read, I pick a piece to make my own. Today's wisdom nugget, it's straight from Epicurus. Yeah, I like to venture into enemy territory sometimes, not as a traitor but as a scout. He says being chill with being broke is a vibe. Honestly, if you're content, you're not even broke. It's not about having too little. It's about always wanting more that makes you broke. Who cares how much cash you've got stashed away or how fat your bank account is if you're eyeing your neighbor's stuff and dreaming about future riches? You're wondering about the right amount of wealth? Well, first, have what you need, and second, have what's enough.
Ait, you hit me up with a letter through your so-called homie. And then in the next breath, you're telling me not to spill all the deets to this dude. Like, you're saying he's your friend and not your friend in the same letter. That's kinda sketch, no cap. If you're tossing around the word friend like we do when we call every random person we meet bros or hit people with a hey, dude when we're just blanking on their names, then okay, I guess. But if you're calling someone your friend and you don't trust them as much as you trust yourself, you're way off base. You don't really get what real friendship is about, my friend. Honestly, you should be able to spill all your thoughts with a friend. But before you even get there, You should know if this person is worth your time. It's like checking the reviews before you download an app. You do your homework first. Once you're tight, trust should flow like a lit TikTok challenge. You gotta keep it 100 with your bestie, just like you do with yourself. Now, as for yourself, while you should live life in a way that you can trust yourself with anything, there are still some things that are low-key private, you feel me? But when it comes to your worries and deep thoughts, your real ones should know what's up. Treat them like they're your ride or die, and they'll do the same for you. There are these two types of people. Some spill all the tea to anyone they meet, like they're oversharing their life story at the drop of a hat. Others are on the other extreme. They don't even trust their besties and would rather keep everything locked up like a top-secret government file. We shouldn't be either of these extremes, though. It's not cool to trust everyone blindly, but it's also not cool to trust no one at all. You gotta find that balance, you know. Same goes for these two types of people who are either always on the go or always couch potatoes. Being super restless isn't the same as being productive. And just being a couch potato isn't real chill either. You should mix it up, man. Be active when it's time to hustle and take a chill pill when you need to. Think about it like this saying I came across. Some people hide in the shadows so much that they can't even see clearly in broad daylight. Nah, we should find that sweet spot where we can kick back and make moves when it's right. So, the takeaway is to vibe with both sides, because nature knows what's up. She made both day and night for a reason.
Yo, keep grinding the way you are and hustle like there's no tomorrow. That way, you can vibe with a lit, upgraded mind that's all zen and chill with itself. Trust me, you'll enjoy leveling up your mind and making it shine without all that baggage. Remember when you ditched those kiddie clothes and rocked the grown-up gear, right? Stepping into the adult world and hitting up the forum was a whole flex. But let me tell you, the joy you'll get from ditching that childish mindset and leveling up with wisdom, that's on a whole other level, fam. 'Cause it's not just about growing up, it's about leaving behind the immaturity. And it's a big deal 'cause, low-key, we're still dealing with those childish vibes. Like, we're scared of dumb stuff. Kids freak out over little things, and we do too. But, here's the deal. You gotta level up and realize that some things ain't worth stressing over. Nothing's that scary if you really think about it. Death? It's a one-time thing, and once it's done, it's done. So, ain't no point in tripping about it. But, you might say, it's tough to get to the point where I don't care about life anymore. But peep this. People find the wildest reasons to not care about life. Some folks go to extremes, like offing themselves cause of relationship trauma, dealing with a harsh boss, or trying to avoid the consequences of their actions. Trust me, having some virtue in your life is just as good as being scared all the time. No one can enjoy life if they're constantly stressing about how long it's gonna last or how many achievements they rack up. Every day, remind yourself that you could bounce from this world anytime, and if you do it right, you'll be cool with it. 'Cause mad people are out here hanging on to life like they're trying to hang on to sharp rocks in a raging river. Most peeps are stuck bouncing between the fear of death and the struggles of life. They don't want to live, but they don't know how to bounce either. So, the move is to make life a good time by keeping it 100. Don't stress about it. Nothing really makes you happy unless you're cool with the idea of losing it. The stuff you have can be gone in a flash, but ain't nothing easier to deal with than losing something you won't miss. So, stay strong and face whatever life throws at you. Like, remember how Pompey's fate was decided by a kid and a dude who wasn't, complete? Cra got wrecked by a ruthless path. Caesar even told Lep to take the L and offered his own neck to Ray. No one's so lucky that they're safe from life's curveballs, man. Don't trust that calm surface 'cause the sea can get stormy in an instant. The same day a ship slays it at the games, it might be underwater. Think about it. A thief or an enemy could straight up end you. And even though they're not your boss, they can still pull the plug on your life. So, I'm telling you, the one who's really in control of your life is the one who's ready to let go of their own. Think about all the folks who got taken out by a plot in their own home. Some got whacked in the open, others got played. The bottom line is, you got to face your fear of whoever's got power over you, cause, low-key, everyone's got that power. But, you might say, what if I get captured by the enemy, and they're like, yo, let's take this dude out? Bruh, that's where you're already headed. Why you frontin' like you're hearing this for the first time? You've been on this ride since day one. We got to keep this thought in mind and other similar ones if we want to stay chill while waiting for that final hour, the one that keeps all the other hours on edge. But I got to wrap this up. Let me drop this quote on you that hit me today. It's from someone else's wisdom stash. Being poor, as long as it follows the laws of nature, is basically being baller. You feel me? Nature's law is just about covering the basics. No hunger, thirst, or freezing your butt off. You don't need to bow down to the rich or deal with their attitudes. You don't need to chase riches by sailing the high seas or going all in on some crazy venture. Nature's got your back with what you really need, and it's right there for the taking. It's the extras that make people sweat, the stuff that wears your wardrobe thin, makes you age prematurely in the grind, and takes you to unfamiliar territory. What you actually need is right there within reach. If you're cool with that, you're rich, my friend.
I'm seriously impressed with your dedication to hitting the books and your daily grind to level up as a better person. I'm not just telling you to keep it going. I'm legit begging you to stay on that hustle. But here's the deal. Don't go overboard trying to be an attention magnet with your style or lifestyle choices. I mean, dressing like you just rolled out of bed, rocking messy hair, and sporting a wild beard, while dissing fancy dishes, lounging on the ground instead of a comfy couch, or any other wacky moves to stand out. That's a no-go. Even just dropping the word philosophy can get you some major side-eye. And what if we start acting all different from everyone else? We gotta keep it real on the inside, but on the outside, we should blend in with the squad. Don't overdress or go full-on slob mode. You don't need fancy silver plates blinged out in gold. But don't think that skipping silver and gold equals keeping it simple. We gotta keep it a notch above the norm, not go against the flow, or we'll push peeps away who we're trying to vibe with. Plus, they won't wanna copy our style if we're too out there, 'cause they'll think they gotta copy everything. Philosophy's all about feeling connected with all humans, like empathy and being sociable. We're ditching that vibe if we're nothing like others. We gotta make sure that what we do to get attention isn't whack or annoying. Our mottos live according to nature, but it ain't natural to torture your body. Hate on looking good without trying, get intentionally dirty, or eat nasty grub. Just like it's bougie to chase after fancy food, it's cry to avoid what's normal and budget-friendly. Philosophy says to keep it simple, but not like we're punishing ourselves. We can be low-key and clean at the same time. That's the sweet spot I'm all about. Our lives should strike a balance between a wise person and the regular world. Everyone should dig it, but also get it. But should we just act like everyone else? No difference. Nah, fam, there should be a major difference, but only if people take a closer look. When they come over, they should be impressed by us, not just our stuff. A real boss is someone who treats plain dishes like they're fancy but also keeps it real with the fancy stuff. It's like, shouldn't we be different from the crowd? Yeah, there should be a big difference, but it's all about making people see that difference when they peep closely. If they swing by, they should be like, this is next level, instead of just checking out our stuff. A real boss can flex with silverware like it's everyday stuff, but can also keep it chill when the situation calls for it. Being cool with both riches and simplicity is key, my friend. But let's talk about today's wisdom. Our dude H-Dog drops some knowledge that curbing desires helps kick fears to the curb too. He's like, stop hoping, and you'll stop stressing. You might be wondering, how do those two even connect? Well, it's kinda like this. Even though they seem different, They're low-key connected. They both mess with a mind that's always in the future, not focused on the now. I get why they roll like this. It's 'cause both of them come from overthinking and stressing about the future. But the real problem is we don't chill in the present, and that messes with foresight, which is actually a boss blessing. We're over here turning it into something bad. Animals dodge dangers they see, and once they're in the clear, they're good. But us humans, we stress about what's coming and what's in the past. Lots of our blessings end up being curses 'cause we remember the fear and worry about what's coming. The present doesn't even trip us up. It's all about how we handle what's in front of us.
Yo, bestie, it's like I'm going through a major glow up, not gonna lie. But I ain't ready to drop the mic and declare I'm all perfect now, or that there ain't any rough edges left to sand down. There's still some parts of me that need a makeover, some need to slim down, and others gotta shine brighter. The fact that I can now spot my own flaws, ones I didn't even know were there before, that's a sign my spirit's evolving into something better. Sometimes it takes realizing you're not okay to start healing, you feel me? So, I wanted to spill the tea on this sudden change in me 'cause I want to level up our friendship, the kind that ain't shaken by hope, fear, or selfish motives. It's that ride or die friendship that stands strong even when life gets wild. I've seen peeps who ain't missing a friend but are missing out on the real deal friendship. That ain't the vibe when souls with the same wavelength come together, driven by noble goals. Why not? 'Cause in situations like that, we know we're all in this together, especially when things get tricky. You can't even imagine the progress I'm clocking every single day. And when you're like, spill the beans, I want to get in on these gains, I'm all in to share these blessings with you. Learning so I can teach is the wave. No lit thing, no matter how epic, would satisfy me if I couldn't share it with my squad. So, I'll slide you those books I'm talking about, and to save you the hassle of hunting down the juiciest parts, I'll highlight the passages that got me vibin'. But keep in mind, nothing beats face-to-face convos and sharing life's ups and downs. You gotta be where the action's at. Pause. Seeing is believing, and it's way more efficient than just reading instructions. Cleanly couldn't become the Zeno clone he was without being in the mix, catching Zeno's hidden moves and making sure he walked the talk. Plato, Aristotle, and the whole crew who did their own thing got more wisdom from soaking up Socrates' character than his words. Epic's glass remained where the magic happened. It was about living together, sharing the same crib that turned Metro, Herma, and Polly into big shots. So, I'm giving you the nod, not just so you can level up, but so you can bring some game to the table too. We're in this together. While we're at it, here's my daily dose of wisdom from H-Dog. What progress have I made, you ask? I've started being a friend to myself. That's a major flex, my friend. When you've got your own back, you're never riding solo, and trust me, that makes you a friend to all of humanity.
Let me drop some real talk on you. You're asking me what's on the avoid like the plague list. I'll keep it 100. Crowds. Trusting yourself in a sea of peeps ain't a safe move just yet. I'll admit my own weakness. I ain't the same person when I'm out in the mix. Something inside me, which I've been working on keeping chill, starts acting up, and old issues I thought I'd moved past come back like they never left. It's like when a sick person, who's been feeling weak for a while, can't step out the crib without catching another bug. Our souls are on the mend, but they're still fragile. Rolling with a crowd is a no-go. I'm talking about how even the most well-meaning folks can drag us into some sketchy stuff, either knowingly or unknowingly. The more people around, the more chances for things to go left. The most toxic combo for your character is hitting up those games. That's when trouble sneaks in under the radar dressed up as fun and games. Trust me, I know firsthand how these events can make you more greedy, power-hungry, indulgent, and even downright savage. You come back feeling like a completely different person, and not in a good way. I once hit up a midday show, thinking it'd be some light entertainment. Turns out it was a bloodbath. No armor, just bare-chested warriors taking hits left and right. It's all about kill or be killed, and the crowd eats it up. Now, you might say, well, these dudes were criminals. They had it coming. But what about you, homie? What crime did you commit to deserve watching this madness? In the morning they're yelling, kill him, whip him, burn him. And when the games take a break, they're like, let's throw in some throat cutting for fun. Seriously, can you even comprehend how messed up it is to teach cruelty to someone who ain't cut out for it? A weak character, someone who can stand firm in their principles, needs to steer clear of the mob. It's way too easy to get caught up in the crowd's vibe. Even legends like Socrates, Cato, and L-Dog could have lost their way if they rolled with a different crew. None of us, no matter how tight we think we are, can stay on point when we're surrounded by people on a whole different wavelength. One bad influence, one greedy person, one hater, they can mess you up big time. The people you hang with can either level you up or drag you down. So, instead of following the crowd or hating on them, bounce from the scene as much as you can. Link up with peeps who inspire you to be better. Be the kind of friend who elevates others while learning from them too. It's a two-way street, homie. Don't think you gotta flex your skills in front of everyone. I'm cool with it if you had something the crowd could vibe with, but these folks ain't on your level. There might be a couple of peeps who get you, but even they need some training to fully understand. You might be thinking, why'd I learn all this stuff then? Don't stress. You didn't waste your time. You learned for yourself, not to show off. To make sure you don't feel left out, here are 3 dope sayings I came across. I'm paying back one of my debts with this letter, and I'm hooking you up with the other 2 in advance. Democritus dropped this knowledge. One person means as much to me as a whole crowd, and a crowd ain't worth more than one person. Some wise soul, we ain't sure who, hit us with this gem when asked why they studied an art that only a few would get. I'm cool with a few, cool with one, even cool with none at all. Epicurus, one of the OGs, wrote this to a study buddy. I'm writing this not for everyone, but for you. You and I are all the audience we need. Keep these sayings close, homie, and don't let the desire for mass approval cloud your judgment. Your best qualities are for you to cherish on the inside.
Yo, so you're asking if I'm telling you to ghost the crowd, dip out from society, and just vibe with your conscience? Where's that stoic wisdom you're always on about? The one that tells you to stay active till the end? Well, let me break it down for you, fam. When I'm locking myself up and going mere, it's not about being a recluse. It's about leveling up so I can drop knowledge bombs on a bigger audience. I ain't wasting a single day, I'm grinding, even late at night. Sleep ain't the boss. I'm the one calling the shots, hitting the books when others are counting sheep. I've not only checked out from society, but also put my own business on pause. I'm on that grind for future generations, dropping some real wisdom that might help them out. Think of these teachings like valuable medicine prescriptions. I'm writing them down because they've been like healing potions for my own struggles. They might not have fully cured me, but at least my issues ain't spreading like wildfire anymore. I'm pointing the way for others, something I only figured out later in life after my fair share of wandering. I'm shouting, steer clear of whatever the crowd's into. Watch out for Lady Luck's gifts, and approach them with caution. See, even animals and fish get fooled by tempting bait. You call these things fortune's gifts. Nah, they're traps, man. Any of us who want to live a safe life should dodge these setups as hard as we can. They might seem like we're holding them, but in reality they're the ones pulling our strings. Following this path will lead you to dangerous heights, and living large up there often ends in a crash. Even when things start going south, you can't bounce back or bail out, cause fortune doesn't just rock the boat, she capsizes it and leaves us stranded. So, hold on to this golden rule. Only pamper the body enough to keep it healthy. Your body's got to be on the same page as your mind. Eat to fuel up when you're hungry, drink when you're thirsty, wear clothes to stay warm, and find shelter when you need it. That's it. Whether your crib is turf or decked out in marble, it don't matter. You're equally covered. Forget all the extra stuff that comes from useless hustle. It's like a shiny accessory that don't add no real value. Understand that the soul is the real showstopper. If it's solid, nothing else matters. When I'm sharing these thoughts with myself and future generations, don't you think I'm doing more good than when I'm playing lawyer in court, sealing wills, or politicking in the Senate? Trust me, those who seem to be low-key doing nothing are often tackling the biggest tasks, dealing with stuff that's both worldly and timeless. But, hold up, it's time to balance the books and drop some wisdom, epic Russ style. I came across this gem today. If you want to experience true freedom, you gotta be philosophy's ride or die. When you fully surrender to her, you get your freedom pass, no waiting in line. Serving philosophy is like being handed the keys to liberty. You might wonder why I'm throwing epic Russ quotes in the mix instead of sticking to our own school's lines. But honestly, these wise words are like universal truths, and they ain't exclusive to any one philosopher. Think about how many poets drop wisdom that philosophers vibe with. I ain't just talking about the heavy hitters. Even the lighter poets got some deep lines. Pop boy Cyrus had this one about not claiming fortune's gifts as your own. Whatever you've gained through greed still belongs to someone else. And remember your own dope line, the one about gifts that can be taken back. What chance has made yours is not really yours. I won't charge this to the expense account since I dropped it using your own wisdom stash.
So, you're low-key wondering if Epic Russ had a point when he dragged those who think wise peeps don't need friends because they're self-sufficient. He dropped that wisdom in a letter throwing shade at Still Bo and anyone vibing with the idea that the supreme good is having a soul that's sun-bothered. But here's the tea. When you try to translate the Greek term lack of feeling into Latin as impatientia, it can have the opposite vibe we're going for. We're trying to describe a soul that's chill and doesn't let negativity slide, but some folks might read it as a soul that can't handle tough times. So maybe it's better to say a soul that's untouchable or a soul that's on a whole different level and can't be fazed by suffering. Here's the deal. We're different from the other squad. Our wise peeps feel the struggle but stay winning, while their wise peeps don't even acknowledge the struggle. But here's the twist. We both agree that a wise person can stand on their own. However, they're all about having friends, neighbors, and a squad, even though they can handle life solo. Here's the kicker. The wise ones can even be cool with just a piece of themselves. If they lose a hand, get messed up in a war, or have an accident that messes with their eyes, they're content with what's left. They still vibe with their not-so-perfect bods even though they'd rather keep all their parts. The wise ones are self-sufficient because they can roll without friends, not because they want to. When I say can, I mean they can handle the loss of a friend like a pro. But they're never stuck without friends because they know how to fill that gap. It's like when Philly Diaz loses a statue, he just carves another. Our friendship bro knows how to replace a lost friend, too. You want to know how to make a friend real quick? I got you. But first, I gotta square up and settle my debt with this letter. H-Dog says, I got a love potion without any ingredients, herbs, or magic spells. If you want to be loved, love. And let me tell you, there's some serious joy in keeping old bonds alive and kicking, but starting new ones is where the party's at. Starting a new friendship is like planting the seed, and keeping one is like enjoying the fruit. My boy Attalus once said, making a friend is more lit than having one, just like painting is more lit than admiring the finished masterpiece. When you're in the zone, creating is a blast, but when it's done, it's not as thrilling. Think of your friendships like that. Now back to the real talk. The wise ones might love their friends to the moon and back, even putting them on a pedestal, but all the good stuff stays within themselves. They're on that self-sufficient vibe, living their best life. Friends are like the cherry on top, not the whole sundae. But let's be real, they need friends to practice friendship, not just because they might need a hand during a rough patch. They don't roll like Epic Russ described, needing someone by their side when they're sick or in a tight spot. Now they're the ones showing up for a friend's sick bed or breaking them out of a jam. If someone's only in it for what they can get out of a friendship, they're playing themselves. It's like fair weather friendships. They're only there when the sun's out. When the storm hits, they're out of there faster than you can say true friend. And you know what's worse? When peeps dip or snitch because they're shook. The beginning and the end of a friendship need to match up. If you started for selfish reasons, it's gonna end the same way. You're attracted to the benefits, not the friendship itself. Why even make a friend, you ask? It's about having someone you'd ride or die for, follow into the abyss and bet your life on. Forget that I made friends to use them mindset. That's not it. True friendship is about the connection, not what you can get out of it. And your lovers catch feelings for each other that are kinda like friendship, but cranked up to the max. But does anyone fall in love for money, fame, or status? Nah, pure love wants the other person, plus a little hope that they'll feel the same. You might wonder, are we talking about making friends for friendship's sake? Hell yeah, we are. We need to break down why friendship should be cherished just because it's friendship. Don't even trip about what others say. It's about what you feel. Your happiness is all that matters. But you're thinking, what if someone who's rolling in dough from shady deals or has a crew of friends calls themselves happy? Does their opinion even matter? Nah, it's not about what you say. It's about how you feel. Your happiness ain't determined by one good day. It's about how you vibe all the time. Don't stress about this privilege falling into the wrong hands. Only the wise truly appreciate it. Fools are always fed up with themselves.